Yo, ladies and gentlemen, what is up? Welcome back. Today we are going to be ranking the characters from seasons 1 through 11 of the main show of The Walking Dead. Looks like we seem to have everybody here. The tiers that I've decided to go with are as follows. Don't care / don't remember. These are characters that I literally they did quite literally nothing for me, or their presence on screen was so brief or so minuscule that I just didn't even remember them in my latest binge of The Walking Dead. And then we have the kid / teenager characters who are just like kind of there, but the writers just really sucked at writing kid stories and teenager stories, so I just am gonna put them there because they just aren't really that special to me. And then we have basically just, the expected tiers. We got average, solid, excellent, and GOAT. So let's get into it. We have Deanna. For her short period of time on the show, I would say her impact and importance is definitely, it stays throughout the whole show. And her presence and the way she plays her character is done well and convincing. And, she goes out like a badass, It's a nice conclusion. Unfortunately, everything she built was destroyed, but rebuilt, and also lost and rebuilt and lost, but whatever. Solid character, nonetheless. Sasha. I have just never really cared that much for Sasha. I mean, I will say, I definitely liked her more on my previous rewatch of the show, but I guess I should state, if you didn't come from my the ranking of the seasons tier list video, if you didn't come from that, I have been watching the show since 2012, so I'm a very long time fan, and I was watching during the time when you watch it week to week, so I have a lot of memories with the show, and I would say I know a decent, fair enough amount of the characters, especially when it comes to like seasons 1 through 6, because I have re-binged that specific part of the series many times, like literally a criminal amount of times. Like I can confidently say more than 30 times, easy. And that's literally without even a question in my mind. But yeah, Sasha, her exit, graceful, even though it kind of still leads to like one of the worst finales I feel like we've ever had for the show. But her role was probably the best part of that episode until it just kind of went into just like this weird direction. But yeah, I don't know. She has some moments, and I like her stuff with Bob, and I don't know. She's a good shot. She's good at combat. I mean, that's cool. But I don't know. She never really did anything for me. Otis. I mean, I would probably just have to stick him in the don't care. I mean, he's there. He's literally just there to shoot Carl and get eaten by walkers. So to me, he's just kind of there. He doesn't really matter to me. He's not. I mean, he's an important character for sure, but I mean, I don't think anyone's watching the season 2 of The Walking Dead like, oh, I can't wait to see Otis this season. I'm so excited to see Otis. No, that is not. And I mean, no. Lori. I would say she's solid. I mean, obviously she's not like a morally good character, but neither is pretty much almost everybody in the show. In one way or another. Lori, did some stuff with, Rick's best friend 1 month after the apocalypse. Granted, she thought her husband was dead, who happens to be Rick Grimes, main character of the show. Uh, yeah, I don't know. She decided to do stuff with Shane, and then Rick comes back, and now you've got a confused Carl who's got like two dad figures, and then you've got Lori who's trying to pretend like she didn't do anything with Shane, and just then Shane starts going crazy, and you've got Lori who just like pins Rick and Shane against each other. It's all excellent stuff. It's all excellent drama, but she is kind of a piece of crap. I don't know. She is definitely, some of her choices and just like words and thought processes. She just simply was not made for this world at all. To put it lightly. But definitely a well written character, well acted, for sure. This dude. I do like this dude. I forget his name, but as one of the savior leaders, or I guess of the, like, I guess one of the 4 or 3 of Negan's, like, second in command, or, like, lieutenants type of deal, that run their outposts, and, he's the one that goes to the kingdom and takes their shit every week. And, it seems like, out of all of them, it just seems like maybe there was still someone in there that was still morally decent, that just, he did, like, it would come out at times, but he's clearly too far gone, and he never really lets out that goodness entirely. But there's some moments, and it seems like there's definitely a heart in there somewhere, which is why I think even though he's a pile of crap savior, there's still a chance that, maybe he could have been saved. Which I think makes him a solid character. We have Sam. I would say this is average. This is one of the kid actors who surpasses just kid/teenager. He actually did a very, very good job. I thought he played, the scared, stupid kid role pretty good. Him being eaten alive is really, really a horrific, dark, awful scene to watch. Especially because it takes out literally the rest of the family at that point, with the mom and Ron, in one way, shape, or form. A chain reaction, domino effect type of deal happens. But yeah, not a bad character. Not a bad character. For a little bit of time he's on the show, he adds a little bit of entertainment value. We have Martinez, another character who also unfortunately got eaten alive. I think I may have just watched this show too much, that it's just desensitized me to where I apologize. Martinez. Martinez. I don't know why I said as like that. Martinez. Average. I mean, he's just your basic, like, lieutenant kind of character. Not super fleshed out, but, he's, like, alright. He has, like, that scene where, like, him and Daryl, like, try to one-up each other killing walkers, which is okay. And he also has that scene where he gets hit in the head with a golf club by the governor because he was stupid and decided to trust him. Also, like this man witnessed the governor kill like 40 people that were his own people, and Perot said, "Yeah, you can join us. Yeah, it's been like 3 months. You're good now, right? Yeah." Like, dude, Martinez, what was he thinking on that one? Denise, she gets an arrow, or not an arrow, she gets a bolt through the face from Daryl's own crossbow, but not by Daryl himself, by the man Dwight, which starts a whole stir of things for a handful of characters. But besides that, well, and her little storyline with the Wolf that Morgan kept imprisoned, she's just, I don't know. She has like that thing where she asked Daryl to get her pop, which is cool. Uh, but yeah, she's pretty average character. I don't know, not too special, not bad, not special. Of course, her last episode, I would say, where she actually does get flushed out a little bit, is you could see the potential, but of course they killed her for shock value. I mean, granted, it affected the story pretty significantly, but still, I'm sure they could have figured out some other way. They always did. They always do. We have Morales. I want to say Morales. I don't really care. His significance in the story, to me, is just like meh. Literally, my favorite part that he has in the show is in season 1, when they all get back from Atlanta and they get to the camp, and he's like, "Hey, helicopter boy, come say hello." And Rick gets out and he sees, Lori and Carl. That's what I like about his character. Anything more than that, not only does he pussy out on going to the CDC and he just leaves with his family. Him and his family, I can almost guarantee would probably still be alive if they had stayed with Rick. I can almost guarantee it. But he had to go and join the Saviors. Bro fumbled the bag. Bro literally fumbled the bag. He was on the losing side and he didn't even know it. Gosh, why do I always forget her name? Okay, I don't know her name, but she's like average. She's an average character. I don't know. Her whole thing with Rick just didn't really seem that, I wasn't really that convinced by it. It just seemed kind of odd, especially because, literally a few episodes after she dies, the romance that actually does make sense happens between Rick and Michonne. So, I don't know. She's average. She has a couple moments. She has like that speech after she kills a walker. She like tries to boost the Alexandrians' confidence and like, this is how we have to live now. That was cool. Her stabbing that one chick in the chest with some like hair cutting scissors. That was all right too. Defending her home properly was cool to see. Seeing one of the Alexandrians step up and actually do something. But past that point, not really that special. This dude, I don't really care. He's like the doctor. He's the Hilltop doctor, and he gets like passed around between Sanctuary and Hilltop and God knows where else. So yeah, he's kind of exists. I can't really remember if he lives or dies or what happens to him, but jeez, I literally just finished the show today. And I'm not an individual who stares at my phone while watching a show either. I mean, but for some reason this character actually, what does happen to him? Wait, what? Oh, that's right. Now I remember. I was trying to think, because he leaves with Gabriel. Gabriel goes blind, and then I remember he literally just gets shot. Like, he tries to do, like, some stupid-ass thing where he, like, takes his savior's gun, and then he's just like, bro? And it's just like, yeah. Okay. And then Gabriel's just like, no! I'm sorry, that's not funny. We have... Who's this guy? Fat Joe? Wait, yeah, wasn't it like Negan's like, now that we don't have Fat Joe, Skinny Pete's just Pete or some shit like that. I think I'm gonna put him in solid just for that. I don't know, Negan he went on and on. He seemed to really like Fat Joe for some reason. He kept going on and on about him every single time. He's like, you guys killed Fat Joe. Sorry guys, I'm a little off of the herbage. So if I find things funny that may not be incredibly funny, they're totally funny. Just, you have to believe me. What's her face? What's her name? I do not remember her name. To be honest, I just don't really care for her character either. I mean, she's just kind of there to me. To me, she's basically just like a plot device for the governor to kind of be pulled back into having to, step up and be a leader again. Otherwise, I don't know. I don't really understand. I mean, she literally lets Megan get bit. I don't understand. The governor said the walkers can't swim. The walkers will not be able to make it across the river. That's what he says before he leaves. And what does she do when she sees a walker try to start crossing the river, who's, not to mention, only about 10 feet across, on the opposite side? And, she stands there for, like, God knows how long, and her daughter's like, hey, I need help with this. Oh, no, there's a walker here, walking across the river, I gotta stay here. And it's like, dude. And then, her daughter gets bit. And it's really entirely her fault. Because you could have literally easily prevented it. It's like, bro, you gotta be kidding me. Gosh, I forgot how much that aggravated me. The governor, let's see. Yeah, I mean, the governor is excellent. There's no other doubt in my mind. The way his character is done in his arc is pretty incredible. Definitely one of the best characters on the show. But I do feel like some of the villains, at least from this point on, were kind of improved off of the governor, mold, I guess. Because, granted, the show kind of stuck to a formula, but, some of the formulas were good, and I feel like the governor, villain formula was kind of good, and I feel like they were able to kind of improve their villains more based off of what the governor kind of created. It was almost like a bad guy foundation for the show. But yeah, David Morrissey plays the governor incredibly well, very convincingly. He's very charming at first, and you're kind of like, is this dude really that bad? And then yes, he definitely is, because he's got freaking heads inside freaking fish tanks, and he's gunning down U.S. soldiers who are just literally surviving. And you've got him going to the prison and basically starting a fight that really he has no position to be starting, because it was all his fault and Merle's fault starting it to begin with. Kidnapping Glenn and Maggie for literally no apparent reason, other than Merle just being a goddamn idiot. But yeah, governor, excellent. Carl. Carl. Carl's like a pretty average. Unfortunately, I feel like they just past season 4, I feel like they just didn't really do his character any justice. He becomes just the definition of a side character that just doesn't even seem even though Rick's whole main motivation is his son, it's bro's barely even on the screen enough for me to even really be convinced or care. Granted, I do care because it's Rick's son, and Carl does have a handful of standout moments, but like I said, I just feel like they didn't really give him enough screen time or enough really good storylines or really anything proper. Chandler Riggs deserved so much better. Let's be honest. His character got absolutely butchered, not only in the script but also in the show, unfortunately, because he got bit by a freaking walker. Freaking, how does Carl Grimes get bit by a walker? Like, come on. Really? Bogus. Absolutely bogus. What the fuck is this dude? Well, this is one of the dudes that the governor kills in season 4. That's a part of Martinez's group. I don't really care about him though. He's he was basically the new leader after the governor kills Martinez. Only he's just not like remotely good at it in any way, shape, or form. So the governor is just like, all right, well, time to go back in loco mode. So he kills him, and that's pretty much it. Well, I guess him killing Martinez was kind of going back in a crazy mode, but still. We have this person. Fuck, what's her name? Shit. Oh. Alright. I can't seem to recall her name, even though her dialogue with Negan is probably some of the most amazing comic relief in the show. And for that reason, she's gonna go to average just because of that. But I can't seem to recall her name at all. I don't know why. I thought I knew it. I don't know. There's a lot of characters in the show, and there's a lot of not important characters in the show, which means there's just too many not important names to remember, and that's what happens. You don't remember them all, especially like this next guy here. I remember what he does. I remember who he's with. I remember how he dies. He's part of Tomas's group in the prison, the little ragtag group of straggler prisoners left over after Rick takes over the place. They try to give him a chance, but unfortunately none of them listen or try to fight the walkers the way they're told. So this dude gets bit, and then Tomas just kind of ends him. So yeah, he's kind of there. He maybe could have been an asset to the group, but these things happen. Dwight, I am going to say, excellent. His story, even though obviously he does a lot of screwed up stuff as a savior, when it comes to killing Denise and torturing Daryl psychologically, and and even some of the stuff before that, like taking Daryl's bike and his crossbow and shit, and just kind of two-timing him, and just being a snake all around. Like there is some things of him, like switching sides constantly, and just kind of being a bit of a rat. Nonetheless, but I do like his story. He was, as far as we know, I think, and as far as I know, at least once a good person. And I think he realizes that his choice to save himself and his wife by joining the Saviors and becoming a lieutenant to Negan just kind of made him a shell of who he was. And so he switches sides to try to make amends, and eventually, because Daryl, for whatever reason, is a very merciful individual considering how ruthless he can be, gives Dwight a second chance, which is pretty incredible to see. And I was actually kind of happy to see that, because I was like, you know what, even though Dwight wasn't the best person, I didn't really want to see him die. Don't care. That's apparently the reason. That's who Maggie runs off with to lead the show for like a season and a half. And it's just like, bruh, what? Because she's like, who cares? She has like blueprints and she wants like freaking records and shit. I don't know. They just didn't flush that out at all. I mean, I guess they kind of did a little bit. Like Maggie brought up like places that they went and like that they got separated and what have you. But it was just like, I don't know. She just seems like kind of pointless. We have, I want to say this guy's name was Tobin? Tobin. Yeah. For a side character, pretty solid, actually. A pretty solidly average side character, you know. He's there. He has like a couple moments where he talks to Rick, which is like pretty cool. You know, not a whole lot of side characters get to talk to Rick, so you know, that's a pretty big deal. And he also has like some stuff with Carol, and you know, he's all right. You know, he's not a bad character. Morgan. Morgan's got to go up and go. Morgan's like, I think that, yeah, this is our first like top of the line, just excellently written character. At least for this show. I can't speak on him in Fear the Walking Dead. I don't know what he's like there, but at least here, I know that here is not here, and and Morgan Jones. It's just excellently written. You got him saving Rick in the beginning of the show, and then you've got his whole arc of not being able to put down his turned wife, which then leads to his turned wife turning on his own son, and eating his son, and eventually he ends up alone. We catch up again with him in season 3, where he's in his clear state of mind, but not clear or in the way you would expect, but clear more literally, as in just clearing the world of living things, anything from chipmunks to ants to living, breathing people, considering how few that there are. He was going through a rough patch there, but by season 7, or I guess I should say, sorry, not season 7, season 6, and we finally get to really meet him again. He's this very peaceful, zen, non-lethal individual. Well, lethal, but non-lethal, as in he's likely not going to kill you. You're probably going to live through your encounter with him. He might beat the shit out of you. You're probably going to walk away with some swollen limbs, most likely, but you probably won't even walk away with a broken one. But then he kind of goes through the stage where he loses people again, including, kids that, became important to him. And eventually he goes through his clear stage again. And eventually him and Rick do this screwed up thing where they promise a bunch of saviors that if they let them go, and they'll help them kill the walkers, and then they can all come back, and they just kill them. They just kill him. They give them their word, and then they kill him. And I think Morgan realizes after that was just like messed up, very much so, and he leaves the show because of that. See, we have this guy. He exists. I think Carol burns him alive, if I remember correctly. Other than that, he's just kind of, I don't know. I think he's like one of the old saviors that like is one of the, he's like all pissed off about having to rebuild the bridge or whatever. We have Alpha. Interesting. I'm gonna say solid. Personally, I didn't really find her to be like super intimidating or anything, or in fact, I didn't even really think she understood what she was doing, or like her strategy was really that good. I feel like she was just kind of guided by emotion and just kind of doing things out of like spite. But her whole ideology on survival in the New World is what I find interesting about her, and the fact that she's was able to build this literally cult following of people who all have these like special Walker Whisperer chants and stuff, and like all these rules and ranks, and different ways of training walkers, and it's very interesting stuff. But yeah, I just don't find her to be as like very intimidating, especially because she lets Negan into her group right under her nose. And she doesn't see through his bullshit act at all, and she literally, basically, Negan just pulled a Rick Grimes on her, basically, but he didn't save her. He just, finished the job. But yeah, solid enough, but definitely no governor or heck, not even. Well, actually, I guess I haven't really ranked that many hardcore villains at this point yet. Siddiq, I would say, is like a solid. I feel like, to lose Carl, I feel like Siddiq was like a pretty decent character. I feel like they gave him a decent enough amount of storylines, with like his PTSD and being trapped in the barn when everyone else was getting their heads cut off for the Pikes. And, there's a decent amount of stuff with him that I think makes him a good character, especially since he becomes the new Doctor. So he becomes one of the most important people within the community. Let's see, we have Alduin, one of the saviors who managed to be saved by our group. Let's see. He is pretty much just average. He's, I don't know, he's okay. I wasn't happy to see him go. It was definitely depressing to see him as a walker, but definitely he just didn't really have that much. He was, the definition of, a side character. Just pretty much on the side, maybe a couple lines here and there, or interjection here and there, but, that's about it. Jim, I would say average as well. I feel like, for the first season, him getting bit was kind of like the perfect way to show, like, how scary it would feel for someone to get bit and then, have to, I don't know, I guess, be alive and kind of just being terrified almost of, like, that inevitable turn, I guess. And then until you come to terms with it, because I guess, he kind of does in the end there. Carol. I would say, like, I would have probably put her here if it wasn't for, like, everything in, like, seasons, like, 6 and, like, 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 and 11. So I'm gonna put her in, like, solid. I think Carol's a pretty solid character. She's like to me, she's like a consistently, reliably good character. Like, her dialogue's never really that bad. Her choices usually lead to good things happening. For the most part, she's alright. But to me, she is just kind of like a one-tone character, or maybe even a bit of a one-trick pony. Like, her thing is lone wolf, kamikaze, running, gunning, solo, being a badass. That's her thing. And then, also, like, being a mom figure to, kids and, never keeping them safe. But other than that, she has her relationship with Daryl that she's, like, really shitty at. And, like, almost loses multiple times because of her own selfish actions. I don't know. They kind of make her character to this, like, very dumb. I don't even know. Like they take her smartness almost and, like, make her seem not smart anymore. I don't know. It's really weird. I definitely fell out of love with her character for sure on my rewatch of this, at least for the later seasons, but definitely enough for me to knock her down a spot or two. Gabriel, I would say, is excellent. I actually do really like Gabriel's character. Mainly, I would say the time jump in season 9, I would say, is probably what does it for me with Gabriel. I feel like I do like his character before that, at least the development of it, but him kind of transforming into this hardened leader and survivor and kind of badass, but also still, speaking the word of the Lord and just being a man of God and still a good man, or at least trying to be. I think that makes him a good character and an entertaining one to watch. We have one of the Magna group people. She becomes a lawyer in the Commonwealth, and I don't really mind her character, I guess. I just don't really, I don't know. I think I honestly I didn't really mind her character that much until she basically just like did that thing where her brother was like, he was happy working at a bakery, and then she just went shut her damn trap, and she just freaking made him do exactly what he didn't want to do anymore. Like, he had literally been enjoying like probably the last decade of his life, and then she just comes in and she's like, hey, I'm back, and hey, why aren't you a doctor? Don't you want to be a doctor? Even though I haven't seen you in 10 years, I thought you loved being a doctor. Hey, shut up, you're gonna ruin my life. Now that we're around a bunch of people again, hey, the doctor thing. Like, bro, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Herschel, GOAT. Without a doubt in my mind, Herschel is always gonna belong at the top. Rest in peace to Scott Wilson, of course. He played Herschel so excellently, and I feel like his imprint on the show is definitely there to the end, absolutely, especially with Maggie's son carrying the name on and the legacy in that sort of way. Rick Grimes, of course, GOAT. Rick Grimes is my favorite character in the show, and I'm sure he's most people's favorite character in the show. I just find his story very, for one, it's very heartbreaking most of the time, but also just very compelling and beautiful and just almost like motivational at times. There's a lot of things about his story that's just like, I feel like almost hit every emotion and aspect and idea that you can think of or feel. I feel like they hit every single note with Rick Grimes, which they definitely don't with every other character, that's for sure. Glenn, this is the character who left the show and took, what was it, like 30% of the audience with him. GOAT. Glenn was a GOAT character. Bro was, as most people say, the soul of the show. He was, what maybe an average viewer might be like, if the apocalypse had happened. Just a pizza delivery driver, who has to turn into a survivor and, ends up with the pretty girl. It's all good stuff. We have Daryl Dixon, the face of the show, the most famous character of the show. He's solid. He's pretty boring to watch most of the time. At least if he's like talking or grunting, whatever he might be doing. But if he's just killing stuff or just like being Daryl, just doing Daryl stuff, I'm all for it. But I mean, his dialogue is just so like bland, and I should say bland past season 4. Like I said, Daryl season 5 till the end of the show is just just not really that entertaining in my opinion. I do think Daryl becomes incredibly boring as soon as we get to Alexandria. I just feel like his character just kind of takes a nosedive, and he's just there to be a badass and, you know, be like, "You're my brother, Rick Grimes," and you know, he shoots the crossbow. And that's what he does. But I don't know. I mean, he's a good character, but he's just definitely not, in my opinion, what everybody else makes him out to be. Iconic for sure, but I don't know. I don't really find his character to be that amazing. Maggie, I would have to probably put in like average. I would say Maggie past, and this is another one, I would say past like season 4, Maggie's kind of meh for me. Just, I don't know, she's just, to me, Maggie's just kind of there most of the time. She has like some moments, but, you know, like her hanging Gregory is cool, and like her stuff with Negan's cool, but I don't know, it's just kind of not that special. We got Patricia's probably have to give a solid don't care on that one. She is Otis's girlfriend or wife, I believe, and she also suffers a similar fate to Otis. It's about the same purpose. She serves about like literally the same purpose. Alrighty, let's keep on muscling through here. Let's see, how many more characters do we got? Still got a few characters, boy. We still got a few characters. Let's see if I can pick up the pace a little bit. I mean, granted, we've talked about quite a few important characters. I think there might only be maybe 9 or 10 more important ones past this point, at least I can think of off the top of my head anyway. Amy is a don't care. That's what we're gonna do with that one. She gets bit by a walker, Andrea puts her down, and you know, that's kind of Andrea's character arc for a while, is just being sad about Amy and all that. Jimmy gets eaten by walkers, is also a don't care. Jackie lets herself get blown up at the CDC. She chose to give up. She opted out. Took the easy way. Also a don't care. Merle. For the very short period of time he's on the show, he's a very solid character. Very well played. And he has a nice little arc. Nice little arc where, you know, he goes from being, you know, typical trailer trash in the beginning to, you know, being the governor's respected lieutenant, but still a piece of crap, to still being a piece of crap, but, you know, doing a little bit of good at the end of the day. So, you know, Merle, you know, he was alright. Ed is a don't care / don't remember, and I think we were all happy to see him get eaten by walkers and get the shit beat out of him by Shane. Beth, I would say, is solid, even though her character gets just totally butchered in season 5. Everything up to that point, I would say, is pretty good. I mostly like the stuff with her and Daryl in season 4. That's stuff I really like, and I would say that's what puts her up and solid for me. T-Dog is average. I mean, T-Dog's alright, but at the end of the day, he's definitely just an average character. Andrea is a don't care. Andrea, there's some potential there, but I would say for literally the entire run of the show, from season 1 to the time that she goes in the season 3 finale, she, to me, is just not that entertaining or compelling or understandable or believable or makes any sense. Andrea's characters, what were they doing? Sophia, we can stick her in the kid/teenager category. I believe that's actually the first one already. I know there's bound to be more, because in like season 10 and 11 there's just a bunch of kids running around that you just have to like pretend to care about. Shane, GOAT. I know he's only here for season 1 and 2, but he is what makes my 2 favorite seasons of the show, personally, seasons 1 and 2. So I gotta put him up in GOAT. I gotta put him up there. We got Milton? Yeah. It's like average. He's okay. He has like that thing where he experiments on walkers because the governor for some reason thinks that the walkers are just gonna like heal. Because he's kind of stupid for some, for all the smart ways the governor works, that's a really stupid thing to believe. I have no idea who this is. I could not tell you who that is. I don't even know what scene they're in or what they're... I don't know who that is. This dude, this is the person who kills Siddiq. He is a whisperer. He managed to somehow infiltrate Alexandria and basically become one with them. He became a citizen, passed the interview process, and became a doctor. And managed to get the best of Siddiq and, get a lot of people in Alexandria very sick, and, he was a messed up individual. I would say they actually did his character pretty solid. I recognize this dude's face, but I don't know what he does. This dude, this guy, I don't really care about him. He's basically just there to get killed by Negan, and that's pretty much it. Not really anything else. This person... Is that who I think it is? No, it's not. Okay, yeah, that is... Oh, wait, that's that Michonne's friend, or whatever, that... from that flashback episode. I was trying to think of who that was. Yeah, I don't care. On to the next person. Looks like we have another don't care / don't remember. I actually don't... Who is... Wait, what? I have no idea who that is. This is the person who's like, I am Negan, shithead, and freaking Rick just domes him. Don't really care about him, but that was a funny scene for sure. This grandma lady, I forget her name, but I would say she's definitely like an average character for sure. Not really too special, she kind of just does like the grandma thing, and then I think she's one of the Pike deaths, I believe. I recognize this dude's face. Can't really seem to place it though. Can't really seem to place the importance in the story. This guy is one of the saviors who is helping build a bridge that's a little bit more rebellious about it and just ends up causing more problems. I would say, like an average. Not like he's really a special character or anything, but I feel like the idea and the story they were going for there, his character was used properly there. This is the... Who is this dude? This is that cowboy dude? Is that who I'm thinking that is right now? I don't know. See, now we're getting into the part of the show and characters where I just definitely am not gonna know. Okay, so yeah, that is the... don't really care. I think, oh yeah, the Highwaymen. That's what it was. He was one of the Highwaymen, and Carol was like, "Hey, do you guys want to see a movie?" And they're like, "Oh, okay, we'll do whatever you want." This dude, I believe his name was Virgil, and he basically got his wife and kids killed, and then he captured a bunch of people on an island and just left them in a prison cell, and then eventually stumbles upon Oceanside, brings Michonne back to the island, captures her as well, and makes her go on a trip, and then eventually Michonne lets him live, and he comes back and meets Connie and this, that, and the other thing. It's interesting. I would say it's average. He's an average character. It's something. It's a lot more than the later seasons usually have to offer. This chick, I think that's Rachel. I don't care. This grandpa dude. This is the dude that Gregory tried to get to kill Maggie. Bruh. If you thought that was gonna kill Maggie, are you kidding me, bro? No, not in a million fucking years. Michonne, I would say, is solid. She's another character who, after it's season 8 for me, I would say she just kind of takes a nosedive and just becomes a kind of one-trick pony of just Rick this, Rick that, Rick. You guys weren't even together that long. Come on. You guys were together for 3 weeks. Okay, not 3 weeks, a few years, but still. I don't know. Michonne, and plus, Michonne, when she becomes the leader of Alexandria, a lot of her choices just seem kind of detrimental. And clearly we see that as season 9 goes on. Yeah, I don't know. Just another one of the characters that the show slowly wrote worse and worse as it got on. Jenner, Dr. Jenner. I would say average. For the one episode, I would say he's actually has a pretty decent performance, and I like what I see. Axel. This is the guy who gets shot in the face for shock value in season 3. One of the first shock value deaths in The Walking Dead. He, had some potential. He was getting a little bit of screen time. Maybe he could have been a potential part of the group. We had to kill him for shock value. So, we'll never know. And that's the reason why I don't really care about him, because they just never made him that special. This dude, stick him in the kid/teenager category. He's friends with Carl for 3 minutes before he gets sick and turns a whole cell block into walkers. So yeah, that's it. Patrick, that's his name. That's Patrick for you. Tyrese. From season 3, season 5, the short period of time he's on the show, I gotta say he's a pretty damn solid character. He has so much wisdom. I feel like he has a lot of heart, and he's one of the last people who still cares, I feel about human life in the show, and you don't really see much of that, so I feel like that kind of makes his character pretty beautiful in a way. Tara, is good in season 4. Past season 4, I don't really think she's just, I don't really care about Tara past season 4. She's just kind of there. I would say she's average. Especially like her whole thing with like trying to kill Dwight and then like not killing him and then being like, oh yeah, no, we're cool now. I don't even know. And her thing with Twizzlers and those stupid fucking sunglasses, I don't even know. I don't get it. And plus the stuff with Oceanside and her freaking being, not that it's her fault, but her being in the same episode where Heath just like disappears. Bruh, what? Absolutely absurd and ridiculous. Whoops, sorry, didn't mean to move you, Andrea. Tomas is a average character. He's just one of the prisoners who happens to still be alive when Rick shows up, and, well, that does not last for long. This dude is another one of the prisoners who's still there. I don't care about him. This is another one of the prisoners who still stays alive, but actually manages to become a part of Rick's group. However, I still don't care. This dude, this is a part of a group in season 1 that Rick comes across in Atlanta when they're trying to secure the bag of guns and Merle. And within that comes the complication of Glenn getting kidnapped, so they have to go here and try to deal with this guy. Yeah, it's okay. You know, he's an average, like, villain, I guess. Well, not even really villain. I don't know. Just, like, person in the way for a few minutes, I guess. This dude, I can't seem to remember who that dude is. Randall. I would say average, but his impact on season 2 is definitely pretty massive. Just as a story and plot driving device, you know, with everything between Rick and Shane, I feel like this just was kind of the nail in the coffin, slowly but surely being driven in. This dude, this was this guy's brother, I believe, this guy right here, and he gets thrown in a fire. I don't care about him. He's kind of just another one of those people who's there. This dude is one of the cannibals from Terminus. I would say he is average. Tyrese and Carol come across him when eventually Carol leaves, and it's just, you know, him, Judith, and Tyrese. And eventually Tyrese beats the ever-living crap out of this guy, but lets him live, because that's just the type of thing Tyrese does. And eventually this dude comes back and, you know, granted, he doesn't live, but, you know, he tries to get revenge. Not like it really works out. This is Eastman. This is the person who managed to turn a crazy Morgan pert near sane and peaceful. I mean, he's a really solid character for literally the one episode he's around. I actually really liked his character, and even though I knew he was most definitely going to die, I didn't want to see it happen. Nicholas. See, I saw Nicholas' face and I thought of fucking Noah. See? Nicholas. I would say he's average. There's kind of like this storyline in season 6 where Glenn's kind of trying to almost like rehabilitate him, try to make him into a good person. Doesn't work because Nicholas just shoots himself in the head when they get surrounded by walkers, which in turn saves Glenn's life. With one of the most, like, I mean, I don't really think anyone was mad that it worked out that way for Glenn, but I'm pretty sure most people were still calling bullshit. We have this dude who is like Beth's girlfriend boyfriend for the first episode of season 4 before he dies, and he has that thing with Daryl where he like tries to guess what his occupation was before the apocalypse, and fails miserably. And then he gets eaten. I would say kind of just a don't care / don't remember type of deal. Same thing with this doctor here, and Dawn, and you have Gareth. I would say Gareth was a solid. He was a solid villain, you know. But he wasn't very smart. I don't think. I think that was his problem. He just wasn't very smart. And you know, if you're not a smart villain, you know, that's just that's not good. This chick, I don't remember what her name is, but for a very short period of time that she's there, I think she actually has a pretty decent performance, and definitely good enough to put her up in average. Bob, I would say, is a solid character. I wish he got a lot more time on the show, but for the little bit of time he's there, you know, he actually does leave his imprint, and he's definitely a good character. This dude is part of Tyrese's initial miniature group that finds the prison, but I can't seem to remember much about him past that, other than that he was clearly just a snake in the grass. But other than that, you know, don't really care about him. Lizzie, I would say this is definitely one of the better acted kid actors in the show for sure. Definitely got to put her up in solid. Her whole delusion with the walkers and confusion is just really well done, and it almost like makes you sick, and it's just like, wow, that is just very awful, especially because she kills her own sister and says that she's gonna kill Judith next. I mean, that is just absolutely wild. And then unfortunately Carol has to be the one to put her down, which is very sad to see. This chick is from the kingdom, and that's about all I know. That's all I care to know. Reg, for the very short period of time he's on the show, I feel like that's like the catchphrase of this. Is like for like the 8 episodes that he's there, or not even. I would say he's like a pretty average character. You know, he has some wisdom to bestow, and you know, his death is definitely impactful for sure. We have Mika. I would say average. Probably like definitely another one of the better kid actor characters, but definitely just your average character. We have Spencer. Spencer, I would say, was a pretty reasonably well written snake in the grass, but again, just another average character. There's a lot of average characters in The Walking Dead, if you can tell. Not every character is super gripping and riveting, unfortunately, but that's just thanks to poor writing and you know bad AMC, like just giving the budget that we just is. I feel like we just had a lot of budget problems. You know, they just never gave him the amount of money that we needed. What the frick is this dude's name? I mean, I don't really care about his character, but I mean, I like seeing him get punched in the face by Glenn, but wow, I don't remember his name. It's crazy. Noah, I would say Noah is an average character who deserved to live a lot longer than he did, especially considering that Beth died just so he could be around, and you know, he isn't around. Ron, this is one we're going to put into the kid slash teenager category. He's just, to me, just a pretty plainly, I don't know, maybe not poorly acted, but you know, it's pretty plain storyline wise. And I was looking at him. I don't know if I was tripping. I might have been a little bit. His face almost reminded me of this dude, but now seeing side by side, I think maybe it was just the hair part that was kind of making me see a similarity. Maybe the nose too, and kind of like that. I think I'm overanalyzing. Enid, I would say, is average. I don't know. She never really has a lot of special moments. She has like some stuff with Glenn and a couple things with Carl, but other than that, just kind of. Rosita, I would say, is probably. I would say Rosita's a solid character, actually. It took a long time for me to think she was a solid character, but, season 4 all the way to 11, I would say she definitely slowly but surely makes her way up to that part of the totem pole. Next up on the list, we have Heath. He is literally known for disappearing from the show. So, we don't care about him. We don't remember him. Pete. Also, I don't really care about him, I don't really care about him either. I don't even know where I would want to put him. He's just kind of a piece of crap, and that's about it. He gets in a fight with Rick. Rick whoops his ass, and then later on shoots him in the face, and that's pretty much it. This dude, you see his face a few times, and you're like, who the hell is this guy? Why does he keep showing up in the show? We have, this is the dude that Carol and Rick run into when Rick leaves Carol to fend for herself. Can't seem to remember what his name is, though. Definitely just kind of an average character. Nothing too special there. This is Dwayne, I want to say. I hope that's Dwayne. Yeah, I think it is. I believe it is. Okay. Abraham. Gotta go up here. 100%. No, not average. Not average. Excellent. I don't know if I would put him in GOAT, but Abraham, well, for one, he does have a pretty good storyline, actually. But the whole Washington thing with Eugene and, that all being a lie, and then him trying to kind of figure out his life after that, and, eventually sacrificing himself to Negan in, the hope that no one else would take the bat. Just makes him a very, very respectable character. And he's also just really freaking funny. He is hilarious. I think this is Megan. I would say just another very basic kid character. We have this dude who rides the tank. Really just don't really care. He rides the tank. That's what he does. Jerry. I would say Jerry is a solid character, actually. I think he's a pretty damn good side character. Pretty relatively fleshed out one at that. I mean, bro's a side character with freaking a wife and kids. This dude, Benjamin, this is the kid who passes away and actually ends up being what sets Morgan on his clear rampage once again after, being at peace for a while. But other than that, he's just another basic kid, teenager character, whatever. Simon, I would say is excellent, actually. I'm gonna have to stick with excellent. It could be just because of how much he reminds me of Trevor from GTA 5. I mean, it's a very similar kind of headspace of just psychosis and almost like this bloodlust kind of that Simon seems to have. he's a crazy individual, but you know, he almost plays it off in this like cool, calm, collected way. But it's like as soon as you say something or do just one or two, three things, and all of a sudden he's like boom, boom. Pretty well done character. This dude, I think he's like one of the Hilltop people, maybe. I don't know. Gregory, I would say, is not a solid character because he's a decent person, but just solid in the way that he's written. You know, he's a snake in the grass, and you know it takes a long time and a lot of chances before eventually, you know, the branch is broken, and you know, Maggie's sick of his shit, and so she deals with it. And in other words, Jesus. I would say, yeah, average. That's actually perfect. Jesus is an average character. He's good at fighting, and you know he introduces us to the kingdom and Hilltop. But you know, past that point, he's just kind of there. You know, and he's Jesus. He does Jesus things. He walks on water, and you know, kicks the shit out of people and jumps off of walls. Okay. Ezekiel, I would have to say, for how like over the top Ezekiel's character is, I think that's really the charm about his character, is that he's over the top, because most of the characters in this show really aren't over the top. So I feel like that's almost kind of gives him like this whimsical, kind of fantastical like kind of feel, and he has hope. Like, he almost just gives you hope. And that's why I gotta put him up there with the GOATs. I think Ezekiel is a goated character. Maybe not a popular opinion, I don't know. But for me, he is. Let's see, we've got a couple don't care / don't remembers here, actually. In fact, let's see if we can just run through as many of those as possible. Don't care. Don't care. Don't care. We got kid / teenager. Kid / teenager, I think. I believe this is another kid / teenager. We got don't remember. We have don't care. We have don't care. We have I believe that's, I want to say that's Magna, and I don't care. This dude, I have no idea who that is. I don't care about them either. I think this is one of Negan's wives. We don't care about her. This is one of the saviors, I believe. And then we got an Alexandrian as well, I think. And Karen, we don't care about her. We got Cartulio. Cartulio. Yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. We'll put him in average. Put him in average for sure. He's a fire character. Negan. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Where does Negan go? Where does Negan go? He goes right and go. He goes literally right and go. Negan is amazing. Negan is absolutely incredible. Literally carries the show from season 7 to season 11. So, he's a pretty fire character. We have a wolf. I would say this dude is average. You know, he serves his intended purpose for the story, but you know, past that, he's just kind of pretty one track. Not really anything too special. He had this asshole cop, but you know, not really that important. I'm not sure who this person is, to be honest with you. We have Yumiko's brother. I don't really care about him. He's like the doctor person at Commonwealth, or well, he wasn't, but he became the doctor. And I believe this person's name is Kelly. I don't really care about her either. We have this dude. I would say for a asshole little ragtag savior, he's actually done pretty well. He does a few horrendously dickish things, including killing Benjamin, and yeah, they do his character pretty well. Henry, I would say, is a solid character. Unfortunately, he doesn't really get a whole lot of time in the show, but for the little time he has, or I guess I shouldn't say little time. For little time this actor specifically had to do the older version of Henry well, he did a good job to put it up in solid. I believe right here is Dwight's wife. Don't really care. They don't really flesh her out very much. Lydia, I would say, is I would say she's actually a solid character. I think she is one of the decent characters to come out of the later seasons, and it's just kind of unfortunate, like what becomes of her, like post-Whisper arc, which I mean I guess kind of makes sense, but it would be nice if they just did a little more something. Eric, gotta put him in the don't care section. Literally the most important thing I've ever seen this man do was in season 8, and then he died. Aaron, on the other hand, I think I've got to put Aaron in excellent. Aaron's a pretty fire character by the end of the show. He becomes, like, from a pretty, maybe not bland character, but, definitely not someone you'd expect to live to the end, and not someone you'd expect to turn into such a freaking badass. Judith, I gotta say, I'm definitely impressed by the actor who plays Judith. She does her stuff pretty well. Gotta put her up in solid. Very, very well done job. Princess, I would say this character is like average. She's interesting enough, entertaining, funny at moments, and definitely tactically smart, I would say. But just kind of an average character with purple hair in the apocalypse, Do you think hair dye goes bad? Maybe it doesn't. We have Connie. I would say that she is, average. She's a pretty average character. Obviously, considering that she is deaf and she has to, sign talk and stuff, she's actually pretty entertaining, and she has some interesting moments, like where she ends up in that house full of ferals with Virgil, with feral humans. Pretty interesting stuff. And obviously her friendship with Daryl and everyone else is interesting as well, and her whole like news reporter deal in Commonwealth is pretty cool as well. Dale, I'm gonna say excellent. I would say I like Dale almost just as much as I like Herschel, and the only reason I probably don't like Dale more is just because I think Herschel gets a little more time than Dale does. That's pretty much it. Jadis, I don't know if I really care for that character that much, but average, is good enough for her. This dude is the dude Rick bites the throat out of, and for that, he goes an average. This lady, one of the Whisperers who I don't care about. This dude is the Pope. He is the leader of the Reapers, and honestly, I don't really think they did him that well, to be honest with you. I just don't really think they just, I don't know, I feel like for a villain, I feel like it was just kind of rushed, and you didn't really understand why the hell he was doing any of the shit he was doing. Pamela, I would say. Where'd she go? Oh, there it is. Pamela, gotta go solid. You know, to be a corrupt politician with a 50,000 population city in Apocalypse, that is something only a corrupt politician could do. And you know, I feel like they do that character pretty damn well. Mercer, I like as well. I gotta put him up in solid. Considering how short of a period of time he's around, he's an entertaining character, to say the least. Hornsby, same thing. Same exact thing. He was easily my favorite part of season 11. And I want to put him at the top of solid. I wish he could have been around maybe a little bit longer, and I would have put him in excellent. If he would have been around maybe like a few more episodes, or if they would have actually let his walker bite Pam, I feel like that would have been like pretty great. But either way, still. Leah? I don't really care about her character. I think her character sucks. Her whole arc of like ditching her cabin to join the Reapers and kill people psychotically, and then basically just betray Daryl is just all kind of stupid, in my opinion. We have this dude who's like friends with Maggie. Don't really care about him. Sebastian. Average, I would say. He plays the pissant, spoiled son pretty well. No, I honestly was probably one of the few people who did not want to see him get eaten by walkers, just because I was like, you know, this is just a dumb kid who has been spoiled his whole life and not raised properly, and I did not think he deserved to die for that. But at the same time, you know, he could have gotten people killed, you know. So there is that. You know, he's definitely not unscathed, that's for sure. Let's see here. We have Stephanie, or no, not Stephanie. What's her fucking name? I don't know. But I'm gonna put her in average. She was an alright character to be Eugene's girlfriend. Eugene, I'm gonna put him in GOAT. Honestly, I think Eugene ends up becoming one of the best characters in the show. He has a lot of different interesting plot lines and dilemmas and things he kind of has to go through to make it to the end of the show. And then Negan's wife is honestly a don't care for me. Right along with this dude, the like second in command or third in command for the Reapers. Don't really care about him very much. And then Beta, I would say, was solid as well. Relatively intimidating and just an interesting villain overall. But that is going to be the end of this tier list. If there's anything more The Walking Dead you guys would like to see, let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out.